Everybody, and welcome to another unboxing. Today I'm going a little bit outside of my comfort zone to talk about something that I actually don't have too many figures for, even though it is a rather common thing to see amongst toy collectors and the toy community and that kind of thing. That, of course, being 3.75-inch action figures. These things have been a part of toy collecting and toy culture for several decades. It's kind of a large scale set and kind of a large scale aesthetic for a lot of different toy lines and that kind of thing to use. Obviously, the big one in history that most people associate with that kind of toy line being G.I. Joe, um, of which I only have one in my collection, and this is him. I picked him up at a garage sale a few months back, and he's an interesting little one. There's something about him that really appealed to me. I think it was both the color scheme and just the idea of having one lone cobra grunt sitting on my shelf surrounded by aliens and monsters and having to deal with all of them without any of his buddies. And I find that amusing. So obviously these days, kind of more modern 3.75 action figure kind of different brands you can look at, that kind of thing. You have stuff like the Jurassic Park Legacy collection, so I have Ellie here. I wanted to get Malcolm, but I could never find him, so there's that. Obviously, you have the Fortnite Jazzwares series, which is just awesome. I've never played Fortnite. I probably will never play Fortnite because it's a multiplayer game and I don't like multiplayer games. Honestly, when I play video games, I'm there to relax. So I mostly go shiny hunting and go exploring the wild and Breath of the Wild and play some weird artsy stuff. One of my favorite games is Yumeniki, if you've ever heard of that. And I can tell you right there just how kind of pretentious I can be with my gaming, I suppose. But these guys are cool. The Jazzwares Fortnite figures, just kind of super articulated, nicely made, fun to play with, and you can make up your own stories with them. You don't have to worry about Fortnite because it doesn't really have much lore to itself. This guy's one of my favorites on my shelf right now, this being Rust Lord. But the figure that actually inspired me to pick up what I'm unboxing today is this little guy. So this is Fenrir, who is from the Marauders Gunrunners line, which is an independent toy line that is based around making highly articulated, highly detailed figures, kind of in the vein of G.I. Joe, so that kind of army man versus the evil bad guys and the terrorists kind of aesthetic, but made with high quality, nicely sculpted independent action figures. And Fenrir here is just an amazing piece. Despite being what is essentially an accessory to their other figures, he's super posable, super articulated, highly detailed with his sculpt. Let me see if I can kind of get it to focus. Yeah, look at all that fur detail. Like each leg has like 4 points of articulation, an ankle swivel, the whole shebang. And that kind of got me having a bit of a hankering for some more independent, highly posable 3.75-inch or 4-inch action figures. And the one I found today, I've actually had on my back burner for a while, but just haven't had a chance to pick one up yet because it's one of those things you see posted on Instagram or you see some post for it and you're like, wow, that's cool, I want one of those, and then you just forget about it. I forgot about it until I found a tab open in my bookmarks that I'd had for a sale that was going on for the figure I'm about to show you, and I just had to have it. So a little bit of introduction here. The toy line that the figure I'm about to show from is from this little line here, the Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, which is a line of highly articulated 4-inch customizable action figures. You can already see spoilers for who I got if you know this series already. But the idea behind Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S being you have these highly articulated 3.5-inch, 3.75-inch action figures that are customizable. And their first series here was based around like ancient Greece and mythology. So you have like Spartans and Amazons and Gorgons, and me being me, I of course had to get one of the Gorgons, which we'll get into here in a bit. But as you can see, Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S comes with like a bunch of lore and stuff about their figures, which is quite nice. And the thing I like about this, so you see this back card here, So nice, it's high quality cardboard, but what's cool about Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S and a lot of other lines like it is you get collector friendly packaging. So you get a nice plastic sheath you can put the figure back into along with their accessories. And then you get a plastic cover to go over the card art. So there, when you open this, there's no, no damage, no loss of cardboard backing, nothing that needs to be torn or taped together. It's meant to be so that if you ever want to just put the figure back into the packaging to display it, you can. And there's no damage to the figure or the packaging, which I think is just really cool and really thoughtful. And I appreciate it because I probably will have this guy in his packaging at some point when I'm not playing with him because, like, bruh, just look at how pretty that freaking card art is. So, yeah, if you haven't seen already, I got a hold of the Beserker, who is a part of the Gorgons, which currently right now when I'm recording this, it's October in 2019, and they have a sale going on Boss Fight Studios, which is the company that makes Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S, have a sale. And it's for their Gorgon characters and their skeleton characters. And me being me, I, of course, had to get one of the Gorgons. So here he is. Yes, that is a 4-inch scale, highly posable, highly detailed Snake Man, and I love it. Yeah, the second I heard that they were having a sale, I was like, oh boy, I gotta hop in the store. And then I hopped in the store and I spent like a week trying to figure out which of the Gorgons I wanted because they're all amazing. But I settled on this guy eventually. So the whole idea behind the Berserkers being that they're a part of the Gorgon army and they've been turned against their will and they're filled with rage and venom and they're going to go fight the Spartans and that kind of thing. But let me go ahead and introduce you to this guy a little bit. So this is the first accessory he comes with. It's like a little viper skeleton you can use as a helmet, which I think is just really cool. I love that they've painted the teeth on there. So, getting a good look at him here, we have a little eerily human face here, like a furrowed brow and bright red eyes, like he knows what he used to be, but he's just filled with violence and rage now, and that kind of thing. But, he has his 2 scabbards here, which are beautifully painted and detailed, and they actually have some articulation on the bottom where they connect, which allows you to kind of either sling them down at his waist here or have them up over his back if you wanted to. You could have them across the arm or being held in a different way. Obviously, we can yank the swords out here. It's a little bit of a tight fit because I believe these sheaths are made specifically for these weapons. So they're a little bit tight. Let me go ahead and get him out of his sheaths here. And we can get a better look at Mr. Snake Man here in a second. But first, let's take a look at his weapons. So he's got 2 swords, both of which are tipped with a little dash of venom, like he's going to go over to somebody and, getting stabbed in the chest isn't, as big of a problem as the fact that you have pure Gorgon venom going through your veins. I love that. I love the way it's splattered on there. It actually looks like, they just dipped it in something real quick, or maybe there's a little pool of it at the bottom of the scabbard. But I'll put those aside for now, so we can take a look at this guy proper. So first things first, he's a snake man, and he has a very long snake tail, which is just very, very cool. So this whole thing, I think, would be about 6 inches in length, 7 inches in length. It's quite nice. Then obviously up here you have the human part. He has these lovely light green paint details all over him with this kind of patterning where it's starting to change down into the scales at the bottom. Yeah, this guy's cool. This guy's cool. As for articulation, head's on a really nice ball joint. I think there might actually be a swivel in there too, like a little back swivel, but yeah, you can get a lot of nice emotional range of that. You've got a little universal joint at the shoulder. You've got a nice deep bend at the elbow there. Ooh, that is very nice. So another thing about Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S is it is meant to be swappable and posable. So I think most of these pieces come on pegs that can be swapped around. And then the hands are on a swivel as well as a hinge. So you can kind of have him tilting his weapons down if you want. Ooh, I love how the striping with the body continues onto the hands. Got diaphragm joint. See, there you go. It's got the little barbell joint in there, so you can swap around parts. Put that back in there. That's got a lot of nice motion. He's got another part with a lot of nice motion at the waist. This whole block right here is a single piece. Then everything else underneath there is a ball joint with a lot of nice motion. So you can have like tail whipped up like that. You can have it swiveled around the front. You can have him maybe coiling it around somebody. Then the end of the tail is basically this whole thing, like the upper body and that kind of thing, feels like solid ABS plastic, I think. Might be PVC. I feel like it's ABS. And then the rest of it's kind of this very firm rubber. I would assume so it doesn't bend when you're attempting to pose it. And oh, like a really nice texturing on that. But let me get him standing again. His little tail. I really like the feel of this guy. He feels really nice in the hand, which is lovely. Yeah, you can sit there and be brooding. So he comes with a few accessories. He's got some more open grabby hands. I would assume that would make it a little bit easier for him to hold his weapons. Let me see if I can kind of jam one in here. Ooh, yeah, that's a nice fit. It feels really nice. So he's got his little hand there. Let me go ahead and swap those out. So it looks like this set comes with weapon hands and grabby hands. So you can have a couple of different posing options there. It also comes with a little Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S Boss Fight Studios stand. Not that he really needs it. He has a giant tail, but it's nice to have because if you swap out this top torso with a human or skeleton bottom half, you're going to probably have some use for that stand. But overall, I'm just really impressed with this guy. I really like the idea of having a, basically a Naga or a Snake Man action figure at this scale with so much posability, and it just feels really nice. And I can already tell I'm going to be buying way too many of these in the future at some point. I would love to have a little Gorgon horde out there fighting some of my action figures or having their own little lore in my little toy shelf universe. But this guy is really neat. So if you're looking to try something a little bit different, maybe go ahead and give Boss Fight Studios and Vitruvian H.A.C.K.S a little look, especially if you're doing this in October in 2019 where they still have that sale on their skeletons and gorgons going on. Overall, I'm just really, really pleased with this fun little guy. And I hope you all enjoyed me rambling about him for a few minutes here. And y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.